evening, and thank you so much for allowing me to participate in this night. After Toni made her transition, you know, we all went to YouTube and everywhere looking at the videos and just kind of trying to see, for me at least, where was the place that I could give my homage, I guess. And it turned out to be the most, it was a difficult one for me to really consume. She said, we die, that may be the meaning of life, but we do language. That may be the measure of our lives. And this is my humble attempt at trying to make that matter in a deep and meaningful way for me, and maybe for you. We die, that may be the meaning of life, but we do language. That may be the measure of our lives, said Toni Morrison, the giantess of literature and authentic expression, who left this earth plane as a powerful crone with the ability to paralyze her readers with her language, which entered you like an ancient stair with its diamond truth. I have taken a stroll through my mind in contemplation of her words. After all, we are here in the space of betwixt and between, as summer does, as all seasons do, and autumn hints of her promised fruit. This is always a time of journeys for me. Some years I am traveling in the physical. Some years my journey is in my psyche. And then there are the crossroads, when the season seems to last for years. That is when the paradigm-shifting openings that require all of myself to be inventory. I must be examined, measured, my cells and storehouses, the material, psychological, emotional, the memories, the creativity, even my soul space and womb space must be examined, wept over, sung. These places must be whispered into my pillow, sung underneath the summons of Simone, as I lay claim to any or all of the four women. Sometimes, perhaps my acrobatic tips on the tightrope with Monet. I have been known to insist with Nicki Minaj, 100 motherfuckers can't tell me nothing. I bees in the trap. Bees in the trap. When that is done, I must write it down. It must become part of the written record of Oye. It is language. I found this quote intriguing and confusing, and it required me to break it down in parts. We die. We die many times and in many ways. We must die to something if we are ever to experience this life as a rich, diverse harvest. For death is a certain and necessary function of life, as is love, pain, loneliness, doubt, wonder, joy, and orgasm. All of it is life, and it is also death. That may be the meaning of life. To die, to travel in the realms of the mystery, magic, and sacred madness where all of the gods, goddesses reside. Some basking over us, some gambling on us, binding, or simply being. That I don't know for sure. It's far beyond my gifts to say the exact orientation of any being, particularly one of the divine ones. What I do know is that when I am truly in that space of death, when the letting go is complete, that is the time I can feel my calling. I know when the divine is near. I can feel them in all of their wise, dark forms. Lit from within by the light, I can see them when I look here now in your eyes. But we do language. We stare deep and long, beaming our love or our hatred at their intended targets. We clench our fists in celebration, affirmation, but also in rage. We hold out our hand and speak volumes. Palm over, open, waist length. That is language. Palm open, fingers spread, arm outstretched. That is language. We can give a thumbs up or a thumbs down, a middle finger up, head down, legs open, arms out, legs crossed, tears falling. Language. When we listen to a lover, though their words break our heart, and we stay because we are willing to own our part. When we compliment a stranger because we sense their lack or their need. Language. When we mean the things we say and then do the things we said. When we drop the mask and tell the story of, yes, our glory, but more our shame. When we write it down on paper, butt naked in the rain, not because we're sexy, but because we're baptizing our pain, we do language. That may be the measure of our lives. To measure is to assess the extent, quality, value of, the effect of, and it is hard to measure teaching ability, but you can see it in the student. Synonyms: choose carefully, reflect with care, consider, think carefully about. Toni Morrison could have used her massive gifts and language to write volumes on matters of standard beauty, religion, philosophy, science, or high society, especially knowing what she knew about the meaning and measure of life. But she didn't. She reached down into the deep, into the blackest, darkest mysteries, magic, and madness of Black folks in America. She grabbed the barbaric nature of chattel slavery yes, Joey. By its hideous neck, and she wrung it until the lies died right before our eyes. She conjured us a resurrection of beauty, love, courage, and humanity, then poured it forth like libations for our dead children's souls. May the meaning and measure of my work have a quality selected with care, a value and effect that is helpful. May my life and my language matter to someone, somewhere, who needs a reason to believe. Thank you, Toni Morrison, for daring to go where no one dared before.